That is not the worst CVT acceleration run I have ever done. It actually simulated rowing through gears, and I was actually kind of surprised at that because I have experienced some acceleration opportunities in this where it just kind of drones at you. So that wasn't so bad. Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey, and this is a 2025 Nissan Sentra SR, the top trim of their compact sedan. And my question for you in this video is there enough here at under $30,000 to woo you away from segment sales leaders like Civic and Corolla, newcomers like the Kia K4, and even segment alternatives like the very popular Chevy Trax? In this video, I'm going to go through all the details, help you make that decision yourself. Stay tuned. First things first, I do want to thank Nissan for supplying us with this vehicle for a full week's worth of testing. You'll definitely want to hit that subscribe button because I've gotten to spend a little time with this one, but Holly has actually put almost 1,000 miles on this one on a road trip across Texas and back. So her insights are going to be way more valuable of what it's like to live with than mine. This one, I'm going to give you more or less a tour of all of the specs on it, starting with what is powering this compact sedan from Nissan. In the case of our particular tester, we have a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder engine making 149 horsepower and 145 pound-feet of torque, sending that power down to the road through the front 2 tires, and a Xtronic continuously variable transmission. Yes, a CVT, traditionally not loved by enthusiasts. You'll want to stick around for Holly's impressions in our upcoming video. I will absolutely drive this and give you my thoughts here later in this video. So no, we don't get a turbocharged engine under the hood, but we do get a rather fuel efficient setup here. As this one sits, it is slated to get, from the EPA estimates, over 30 mpg across the board, over 35 on the highway. I do believe it's ranked at 38, but I'll put those numbers down on the screen. A fuel efficient engine for sure. Not only do we not get a turbo on this, but Nissan famously doesn't offer any hybrids. So really, this is the most efficient combination you're going to get offered here in this engine. No hybrids isn't a big deal, but Nissan brass has cited that as a reason why the brand is kind of lagging behind. Got a couple of EVs, everything is gas from there on out. So would you buy this? Would it be more appealing with a hybrid powertrain? I don't know. Both Civic and Corolla offer hybrids, but the K4 that I mentioned earlier and the Chevy Trax don't. Updated looks for the Sentra are not new for 2025. It's keeping the vehicle fresh. I really do like the little bit of accent work that we've got going on in this one. There is also a midnight edition that gives you all dark accents up here, but I think it works fairly well. You can see we have LED projector beams right here. We've got running lights, we've got incandescent turn signals here, but overall a nice clean look. We've got the Nissan V-Motion grille adapted for the new modern era, and just a very cleaned up front end. This right here, not active aero pass through at all. In fact, it's just a little bit of black contrasting plastic to the plastic bumper up here. It's a clean, nice, handsome look. I don't think it's going to win any awards, but it's definitely not turning away any buyers either. It's inoffensive. I kind of like it. Moving around the vehicle even more, I really do like the just overall handsome styling of this vehicle. I think handsome is perhaps the best word for it. It's just got some nice, clean, simple lines to it, and has that a very aggressive front end, the V-Motion grille dipping down very low. I like it, it works. As we pull around to the side of our SR, you can see we've got some simplicity to the sides here, but that doesn't mean it is boring by any means. Taking a look at the wheels and tires, we've got 18-inch wheels and tires on this one, though I was very interested at just how narrow they are. These are 215/45 R18 Hankook Kinergy GT tires wrapped around these nicely styled wheels. Again, just giving it a little bit of extra style and flair as we look at the exterior of this Sentra SR. Pulling around to the full profile, again, clean simplicity is the name of the game. You can get a blacked out roof on certain models, and you can see that floating roof design going back behind those rear doors back there. But generally speaking, it is a very clean, handsome look. I will say one of the design lines I really like from the driver's seat that you can see in the rearview mirrors as you're driving it are these hips. This actually does have fairly wide, aggressively styled hips on the back end of it, and you absolutely see that in both of your rearview mirrors from the driver's seat. It just gives it a nice, very aggressive look. And coming back to the back, it really gives it a kind of a wide stance back here for the size class for a lot of its competitors. It just feels like it's got nice, wide, broad shoulders back here, and I like it. It works very well. You can see the design of the taillights does mimic the lighting signature up front, though we still do get incandescent turn signals even back here on the back. We do get that SR badge, just to let everyone know behind you that you have the top trim, though this is definitely not the SER version and variant that Nissan sold during my high school years. We do get some nice sporty touches, like this rear lip spoiler back in the back. Again, it's all very handsome, though not overly aggressive. As we come back to the very back, we do have an electronic latch for opening the trunk. Very wide trunk opening. We have 13.9 cubic feet of cargo space back here in the trunk. And you can see those hinges do actually impede on luggage space, so something for you to consider, but very wide opening, very usable space back here. I'm very impressed with just how rectangular they were able to make everything back here. And if that's not enough, you can see back here we do have a 60-40 split bench back seat, though you have to go into the cabin to actually fold that down. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Underneath the floor here, we do have a temporary spare. And yes, temporary spare. We also have our jack and necessary equipment down underneath there. But generally speaking, not a whole lot going on back here in the trunk. One thing I wish Nissan did that my 13-year-old competitor to this in my Chevy Cruze does have would be a plastic grab handle, so that when you close this, if it's a dirty vehicle, you're not getting all that grime on your hands and you're not making those clean fingerprint spots on your trunk lid. Before we climb in this one, I do want to show you the key. Typical Nissan key. I like how slim and compact Nissan keeps all their proximity keys. And you can see we have all the necessary buttons on here. Lock, unlock, your trunk release, your panic button, and a remote start. Unlike competitors from, let's say, Toyota, there is an actual dedicated remote start button on here, where Toyota likes to make you press the lock button a bunch of times and do a certain dance and make sure you do all the right things at just the right time. I do really like the simplicity of a remote start button, but you can keep it in your pocket or purse, which I have done, and it is a very slim, compact form factor, so that makes keeping it in your pocket very nice. And when you come up to the vehicle, it is not a passive entry, so it doesn't unlock just by grabbing the back of the door handle, but one press here unlocks the driver, one more press unlocks all the other doors, and then a third press locks them all back. When you unlock it and open the door, you're greeted by a premium interior for the segment, though it is a bit dark. We have black on black on black with some orange accenting. I would like to see some color options, but yeah, that's where we are here. We do get that lava orange contrasting stitching on the doors. We get some fun, interesting materials here. These textured plastic bits, we'll see that throughout. We have an express up-down driver's window, but not all four windows. And then you can see your window lockout, your door locks, and your power mirror controls. Padded armrest here, a little bit of storage there, a little bit of storage there. We do have the optional 6-way power adjustable driver's seat with 2-way lumbar. Taking a look at the seats, again, they did contrast them out a little bit. with this strip right here. We do have a little bit of cloth going around here. Overall, the seat design is very nice. And yes, these are Nissan's zero gravity seats, so they have proven very comfortable in our time with it. Again, to get Holly's input, definitely hit subscribe. Coming in and sitting down, you can see a very sporty and tinted overall design in here. I really like the three bezel or air vents across the middle here. This is giving Mercedes C-Class, CLA, something like that, which does kind of give it an upscale appearance, even ever so slightly. To start the vehicle, you put your foot on the brake and push the start button right there. You can see all of our screens come to life. We have a 7-inch helper screen here. We have an 8-inch infotainment screen over here. We actually have analog gauges, so we haven't gone full digital here, which is actually kind of a welcome departure from going overly digital in a lot of other vehicles. So I like the simplicity there. You can customize. There's a lot of information you can get here on the center screen, from your driver assistance to here. We'll just pan through a few of them. You can see our fuel economy, how start stop has helped you or not, your tire pressure. This does have the intelligent fill assist, where it will honk on you when you fill the tires up to the prescribed PSI, but you can see just all the different things you can get here. You can even have the digital speed displayed there in the middle, because we don't have a head-up display, which is not unusual in this class. Coming over here, we have a small-ish 8-inch screen over here. It does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, if you can't tell by what's on the screen, but as I'm filming on my phone, you'll have to wait till we switch over to the GoPros in the driving section to see exactly what that's like. It's very interesting. You get a lot of clickies in here. It kind of feels like I'm using an old PC, and it's interesting, to say the least, to get all those clicks. But for the most part, it has worked well. We do get some physical redundant controls down here, including a button for the camera. We do have 360 cameras on here with early YouTube screen graphics quality. Also, if I put it in reverse, you can see we do have a trajectory in both forward and backwards visibility situations. So I do like that a lot. I like that we have 360 cameras here in this one. So that is a plus. And you can see there are a couple of different views, so I can see that front corner over there just by hitting the camera button a couple times. Moving down here, we have physical controls for our dual zone climate controls, which welcome here in this class. So I do like dual zone climate. We can also see we have 2-stage heated front seats, a single-stage heated leather-wrapped steering wheel, and this steering wheel is, like I said, leather-wrapped, tilt and telescoping, but all manual. The buttons over here, you can see we have our cruise control buttons, we've got our voice controls, we've got all the controls for the screen right there. I didn't start over here, but we'll come back. You've got your brightness controls, your trip reset button, an eco button that makes it a little more fuel efficient, though we haven't used it in our time with it. An electronic trunk release right here, and then we have a physical release right there for your fuel door and for your hood. So yes, that fuel door is secure even when you are not anywhere near your vehicle. Moving down even further from the HVAC controls, you can see we have a USB-C, a USB-A, and an auxiliary input right here for your infotainment. We also do have some auxiliary power there. Engine start stop defeat. We've got some rubberized storage right here, which works well for my phone, sits here very nicely. Engine start button. The controls for our CVT, I like that as a physical control, but I have found myself accidentally putting it in low a little too many times, but we do get a physical or a digital readout right here of where you have it placed. A little bit of extra storage here, though it is hard plastic. A couple of cup holders here, though no grippers or anything for various sizes. A nice padded armrest here, again with contrasted stitching. And it is a rather deep center console, though there's no like partitions in here. Coming over to the glove box, a decent sized glove box. It isn't felt lined, but you can see it is damped, so it's not just going to flop down on you. Just like the driver's door, we've got decent storage here, decent storage there. We do have the Bose sound system here in this one as well. While we're talking about storage, we do have some sunglass storage up here. We also have a regular sized sunroof, no big panoramic roof, with our controls right here, and then all of our lighting controls right there. Coming to me, I've got a decent amount of headroom, though I do have the seat all the way down. But yeah, decent headroom, and again, that is impacted by the fact that we have the sunroof right here. I do like that we have a physical opening shade. It just makes closing it so much easier. Sometimes I just like the simplicity of how things used to be before we had panoramic this and power retractable that. So that's a nice welcome addition. But let's see what the back seat is like here in the Sentra. I'm going to pop in behind myself and see how much space and what kind of luxuries we have back there. All right, I already talked about the lock-unlock situation here, so you are going to have to go to that front door to unlock the back door, give it a couple presses the way we have it currently configured. But when you get back here, you can see the doors open nice and wide. It should be fairly easy to get a child safety seat in. If you want to see me install that with a POV install, absolutely hit the subscribe button because that video is forthcoming. But again, same use of materials, colors, and textures back here. So I really like the general amenities back here. We'll go ahead and climb in behind myself. So this is me at 5'10", sitting behind myself at 5'10". I've got a good amount of room, though not a lot going on back here. We do not have map pocket storage back here, but we do on the back of the passenger seat. We have a single USB-A port on the back of the center console, no air vents. Top trims of the Kia K4 do offer air vents and offer more power outlets. No storage to speak of, and we do get a center tunnel right here, though it isn't overly huge. It will impede if you have anyone sitting here in the center, though we do have a fold-down armrest with 2 cup holders. It doesn't flop all the way down. It's actually in a usable position, which I like, though this center seat is a little bit on the narrow side. And then you can see we do have Tucker's child safety seat in here, but coming to me, I would say this is almost too tight of a back seat. It works well for Tucker, but not so much for me. My hat is touching the ceiling as the roof slopes back here. It's fine. It just wouldn't be my preferred place to ride. It's comfortable enough. The seating position is nice. The seat padding is good. It's not the zero gravity seats from up front, but it's a good enough back seat. There is one more trick I want to show you, and that's the fact that it is a 60-40 split folding rear seat that you have to adjust with that right there. So yes, you can fold the seats down, but you're going to be doing that from inside. You can see the 40% is over here, which is not generally how we like it because Tucker's car seat is generally over on the passenger side. So that means we just kind of have this wasted center section and a narrower opening between the two, but it is still added room when we need it. And I do like, even though in this situation it's getting in the way, the fact that the seatbelt is in the seat back. It doesn't come from the ceiling or anything. It doesn't disconnect. It is a nice option back here, but that is enough of a tour of it. Let's hop behind the wheel and see how this thing drives. All right, before we set off, I did want to show you wired CarPlay. It works about as expected, and yeah, everything's right there. The 8-inch screen is clear enough resolution. I don't have a problem with how small it is, and I can reach it very nicely. Also, before we set off in this one, we do have our Racebox 0 to 60 timer. So we're going to see exactly what this thing is like setting off in traffic. We're going to do a few different runs to see just how quick this under 150 horsepower CVT equipped front wheel drive Sentra really is. But we'll start off right here on fairly level ground. I'm going to come to a complete stop and I'm going to brake torque it. The next 2 times, we're not going to do it. We're going to do more of a traditional start. So I'm standing on the brake right now, standing on the accelerator, and drop the brake. Off we go. I mean, it's not terrible. It's shifting as we go through the gears. 8.7 seconds to 60. It's fine. For what this is a commuter. Could it be faster? Absolutely. Could the CVT be better? Yes. Could it be worse? Also yes. That is not the worst CVT acceleration run I have ever done. It actually simulated rowing through gears, and I was actually kind of surprised at that because I have experienced some acceleration opportunities in this where it just kind of drones at you. So that wasn't so bad. I mean, could be faster, but I've been in slower vehicles, I will say that. Otherwise, setting off and driving in a normal commute situation, not power, but just driving around, especially in town, this is fine. It's all that you would need. It could use some more power, yes, but it trades that all for fuel efficiency and comfortability. I will say this CVT in stop and go traffic, just in a commute, is not terrible. That's why you'd want it. It's like invisible. You don't know that it's there because you're just driving around. It makes this feel more like an EV because, well, EVs don't have transmissions. You don't go through gears. And the engine isn't overly loud, so even in that acceleration run, it just wasn't obtrusive. We'll say that. What is kind of obtrusive is the road noise in this. This particular vehicle is under $30,000 just. 29,600 some odd as this one is equipped, which does include destination. And I am a little surprised at those 215 width 18-inch tall tires. But here on this highly textured pavement, they're communicating quite a bit of road noise. I wouldn't say it's loud. I've been in much worse from vehicles that cost more, but it's not great, but it's not terrible. We don't have any sound deadening to really help soak up that road noise. It's fine. Yeah, fine. That would be the best way to describe it. Otherwise, the driving impressions in here, I told you I have for the past 13 years driven a compact sedan for my daily driver, and there's some interesting packaging here in this one. I feel like I'm really close to the windshield, closer than I am in my daily driver, and I think that's because it's a more vertical windshield, and so I feel like I'm constantly trying to peer around the rearview mirror here. I feel like that's always in my way. But otherwise, visibility in this is generally very good. I do have blind spot monitors here, which is good. I've got a very big back window that I can see very clearly out of my rear view. And I would say there aren't any real big major compromises on design lines here. I would say I can even see out around Tucker's child seat back there better than I can in my Chevy Cruze. That C-pillar is much more compact than what is in my Chevy Cruze. I would say this would probably be an easier vehicle to live with daily than what I have been living with for the past 13 years. And we've got to slow down for some deer crossing the street here. That is a lot of deer. And that is why I don't do a lot of crazy driving back here on this road. You never know what you're gonna see around the corner. It could be deer, it could be other cars, it could be children. Always drive with caution, but driving this in a spirited manner, I'd say the steering is a little on the heavier side for sure. Not calling it heavy, it's just heavier than not, if that makes a lot of sense. You don't have to drive it with your fingertips at all, and it does increase in its feedback the further in you turn, which gives it kind of a sporting driving dynamic. You don't feel like you're just gonna end up in another lane by looking at the steering wheel wrong. It's very well weighted and does a good job of pointing this car in my intended direction. The suspension is fine, though it's not a sporty suspension by any means. We do have a multi-link rear suspension, which is more than what you get on paper anyway from competitors like Zoom Mazda with their Mazda 3 and its torsion beam. rear suspension. So that's a plus, right? I'd say on paper, they're equally as fine in this situation. For this class, what you're really paying for is a roomy, comfortable vehicle with the amenities you need. And that's exactly what Nissan has provided here with this Sentra. We're getting over 36 mpg in our nearly 1,000 miles worth of testing. We've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. We've got good visibility. We've got decent power. We've got practically everything you would want. Even heated seats up front here and dual zone climate. It really is a nice overall package. Even if it's not a leader in any one particular segment, it's a nice option to, well, all the other compact sedans on the market. You've got Hyundai Tucson, Kia K4, Mazda 3, the segment leaders in Civic and Corolla from Honda and Toyota respectively. And then you've got segment alternatives like that incredibly popular Chevy Trax, which really kind of lends to the question, are you still interested in a sedan, or are you going to want something like a small crossover like that Trax for more cargo space back there in the back? And you also have that Subaru Crosstrek, like what just passed me. So there are a lot of ways to spend $30,000 in a small, affordable vehicle that's well equipped. But I'd say this is a very nice option in the segment. Nothing has been really offensive, though I will say I've gotten a little bit of noise, of vibration here in the cabin, some panels here and there, but that could just be this particular car. Test vehicles do live a hard life after all. But as we are nearing the end of the twisty bit of the road, we're going to do 2 more acceleration runs, one going slightly uphill, one coming slightly downhill. But I'm going to do a more traditional run where I'm doing everything with my right foot. So we'll come to a complete stop and I'll go straight from the brake to the gas. Ready, set, and we are off. Little hesitation from the engine there. And again, fanfare, all that stuff. Faster 0 to 30, but slower 0 to 60. So a little quicker immediately off the line, according to our race box timer, doing it without brake torquing it. But now we're going to go slightly downhill. This does have the potential of being our fastest run of the 3, given a little helping hand from gravity. But full stop right here, full on the brake, and stomp the gas. Again, little hesitation, but off we go. Fastest 0 to 30 so far, and fastest 0 to 60 at 8.13. So yeah, as expected. Though that time, yeah, I definitely got that CVT drone where it's just like, preferences. But just over 8 seconds, 0 to 60. You're not lighting the world on fire. You're not buying this for drag racing, but that's more than enough to merge onto highway traffic and not leave you stranded and or rear-ended, whatever the case may be. If you do want to see more from us, Holly's take from putting nearly 1,000 miles on this one, be sure and hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell so you are notified when future videos drop from us. Find us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, you name it. Everything is at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com. But as for me, in the sub $30,000 Nissan Sentra SR, until next time, gearheads, bye.